Welcome, my audience. This is Mothers in May, day two. I got a TEDx speaker, a GP for 20 years. More than that, a person who loved nature and loved the gut, so that she is picking up the clear food all the time. I'm so excited to introduce this mother, TEDx speaker, a coach, and at the same time, I would say she is an influencer for many people in this community. So let us welcome Dr. Peng to the show. Thank you for joining us today. Can you introduce
Thanks.
yourself, your passion, what you do as an entrepreneur to our listeners?
Great. Thanks for having me on. Yes, my name is Ping. I am a GP first and foremost. Um, and I have been for over 20 years. And over time, I've become more and more interested in lifestyle medicine and use this as my approach at work. And this then slowly evolved into health coaching, which required some kind of speaking experience. And yeah, outside of work, I'm a mum to two kids who are 9 and nearly 6.
Yes. So you got different hats, like you're a GP, you are a life coach. And then I know that you got a big veggie garden where you put, real vegetables for your family, and at the same time you're inspiring. And recently you did a great TEDx speaking as well, which was also inspiring to different people. So my question coming to our theme of Mothers in May is, how do you describe your motherhood?
Sure. Well, I think I would say motherhood for me, like most things, there's a bit of a dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's both a real privilege to be a mum. As you can imagine, in my job, I see lots of women or couples who can't have babies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do appreciate how special it is for me to have these babies. But equally, the everyday job of being a mum is extremely stressful at times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this dichotomy, and it's living moment to moment and trying to be mindfully present whenever I can. And I would say, yeah, that's the kind of key thing that in stressful moments, I need to just step back and
Mm-hmm.
remember that this is, a part of the journey. And yeah, just remembering to just appreciate that even being a mum is special in itself.
That that's good. Yeah, it's lots of moments. When I was checking with other moms, they always say that, like, seeing baby first time is a great moment that still cherish, and some of them got many other milestones in their life. So my next question is, do you have any of those special moments? If I ask that, it's like a it's not a right question because the answer is always yes, but I would love to hear from you some best moment of your motherhood that you still cherish.
Yeah, I think some of the biggest cherished moments would be when I see when I see the world again through my children's eyes. And it's
Hmm.
often something very simple. And one of the moments I really remember was when I took my little boy out, and he was probably only a few months old, and we live close to the beach. We go out
Hmm.
for walks in his pram, and it was a really, really windy day.
Hmm.
He had never experienced, that sort of strong winds before.
Hmm.
And the kind of look on his face and the reaction he had to a strong gust of wind made me kind of really kind of see the world in his eyes, Something simple like that. Really, I cherish very much. Because we forget we've been around on Earth, for far longer than they have,
Hmm.
and we forget some of these really simple sensations even. And so yeah, I find that just takes me back to really basic things and keeps me grounded. So yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's what I cherish very much. Yeah.
I love that description, like how little babies react, like in a first time experiences, right? Yeah, that's a great way to reflect on your motherhood. I'm just going back to my kids a little, like, those time, it's a bit hard to figure out like those little moments because I
Yep.
always going through a bit like the moments that they crawl, they start making noises, or like, they started to have that solids, all those normal milestone. But I felt like this is a great way to keep in your mind, like, a very special reflection of towards nature. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think, that's
Thank
clearly you showing that connection with your connection with the nature. That's
you.
what
Yeah, sure.
the reason that you're picking those as a very much like in a special moment. So thank you for that thing.
Thanks.
And I'm actually going through another question that every mother used to think like everyone got 24 hours, but some people only look after babies. Some people do work and motherhood. Some people do work, motherhood, community services, and again being available for their own personal care. So how do you juggle all these things together? And do you have any specific rules that you keep in your life?
I think the first and foremost thing to say is that you don't we all have mum guilt. Um,
Mm,
whatever we do, mum guilt's always going to be there. And it's recognizing that that is part of being a mum and it's okay to feel that, but you continue to do what you have to do outside of being a mum.
mm,
That's the first thing to say. And I guess the thing is for me, I would say, it's a bit like this work-life balance. There's mum being a mum, work or various types of work. Um, and to me, there's no such thing as balance at all times. It's really more like you focus on one thing, and again, it's going back to that being mindfully present sort of thing.
mhm,
When you're doing that job, you try to do the best you can, um, and being present for that. So whether you're spending time with the kids when you're doing your job. So I would say one of the tips would be again being mindfully present.
mhm.
Um, I don't know if I've answered your question. What else did you want me to answer
Yeah,
in
I
that
picked up
question?
from there. It's like, you are segmenting the actions of a motherhood
Yes.
and you being there 100% in that present moment. I think that's a great message I'm picking up from there because sometimes we always worry about what will happen the next thing. What should I do for the next hour, or how do I pick up kids from there? But you will be losing the current present moment of enjoying that time, maybe with friends or maybe doing some work. So the great message that you shared with me is like be the 100%, be in that present moment, which is a great way of doing our best in all different chunks because life is more of like a compartments of different roles, different actions. But if you are taking our grief or sorrows or stress to the next one, we can't really, experience the current one and the next one. But you clearly putting that boundaries and then keeping that 100%. So I like that. I like
Yeah,
that way.
I try to, I would say. It doesn't work all the time, but I think just having the
Mm,
awareness whenever you feel like you're out of that present moment and trying to take yourself back into it is what
mm,
I aim to do as quickly as I can catch myself. It could be, I don't know, half an hour later before I catch myself going, oh, actually, I'm not really being very present. So it's not like it's a 24/7. I'm always mindfully present. But yeah, whenever I catch myself going, oh, actually, I'm thinking about something else instead of being here,
mm.
then I try to take myself back there.
Yeah, we are all human, right? So we are not robots to do that
Absolutely.
programming. So, that's clearly making sense. And I feel like, you are becoming really authentic and then transparent as a human being rather than, okay, putting up all in a calendar. It's not, but I am becoming human more of that human mindset. And I think that's where everyone missing because all people are going through through the different ways and the authenticity is actually losing. But I can clearly see that, yeah, keeping that authenticity over there. So that's a great way of, of life. And I know that's the reason why you helping other people. So I'm gonna check with you about your love of nature, your vegetable, growing your own vegetables, and then that type of life that you're doing. Is that from your start, or is it something triggered you to transform into that way?
I guess what I would say is I have always loved nature as a child, and I
Mm-hmm.
was always very curious about plants and, nature things around
Mm,
me.
yeah.
And I happen to be lucky enough to have parents who kind of like growing things, and I had an uncle who also loves, plants, and was always going to his home and looking at all his bonsai plants and, the various pets he had and how he bred various types of animals. So I was always surrounded by nature. And that's
Mm-hmm.
probably my to it. In terms of growing my own veggie patch, that kind of evolved over the years. It started when my husband and I first got married, and we were living in an old house, and there was an old swimming pool that was full of mud, basically. And we decided to turn it into a veggie patch by filling it up. And
Oh, okay.
that was in itself a very satisfying experience. And so when we moved to our current home, we
Mm-hmm.
decided to put, small areas in. And obviously at the time, because we had very little babies, I couldn't do very much. And so
Mm-hmm.
probably in the last well, kind of at the start of COVID, obviously we suddenly had a lot of time on our hands, was spending a lot more time in the backyard, and that's when we grew it to this size today.
Yeah, I think COVID helped everyone to go back to earth,
Yeah,
right? More of
yeah, back to
grounding, more
nature.
of touching a mud, and then, put
Yes.
your mind into that and feel that seed coming up into a plant, and then, grabbing all those vegetables. So I can resonate with that, and that was the time that God gave us to
Yeah,
connect
absolutely.
back to earth. Yeah, that's great. I know that we have different TEDx speakers are coming up in this series, and then you may be the first one. So I would really love to check with you. What was your experience? How did you go? How did you, prepare yourself in a nutshell?
Yeah, well, I'm part of a speaking group that's with Kaylee, as we are both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and well, Kaylee put on one session where, there was a TEDx speaker and happened to have been working on that day. So I
Mm-hmm.
totally missed it. And I thought, oh, well, TEDx speaking is something I would really love to do. So back when TED first came out, I don't know, maybe in 2006 or 7, it was all I could think about whenever I had time to watch it. I would always be watching, getting new ideas from it, and I loved it so very much. And in the back of my mind, I guess there was always this little dream of speaking at an event. And when this came up, I thought, well, it will be my time, but maybe perhaps not right now. Um, and I got a text message from Kaylee going, "Have you applied yet?" And I go, "I don't think I'm going to." And she said, "Well, no, I think you should." And so it so happened that I came back from a conference with lifestyle medicine. I was really inspired by some of the speakers there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to give it a go and see how it turns out. So I wrote my little draft and put it in, and before I knew it, I was asked to do an audition, which surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I heard was, "Oh, actually, you were selected." And I am still a little bit surprised today that I have completed it. Um, but I am very, very thankful to all the people along the journey who have encouraged me along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it's, I would encourage anyone who likes that sort of thing to put themselves forward. And you never know. And for me, public speaking was really kind of a fearful thing for me in the past. And um, it took me on this journey during this process of how I would learn to actually even control my breathing, um, work on gesturing, hand gesturing, and
Mm,
craft and melody and things like being, again, mindfully present when you're doing your speech, how you can connect yourself with your audience and
mm,
very mindfully present. And on the day itself, I started that day saying to myself, I do my meditation every morning. So that day I said to myself, I've done all the work, so I'm just going to go out there and enjoy it, no matter whether I make a mistake or not. It's going to be a fun process. So that was my intention for the day. And so that kind of got carried along throughout the day. And it turned out to be that, there weren't any mistakes, which was lucky. And
mm.
yeah, I thought it just, when exactly how I would have liked it to have gone.
Well done and congratulations. And then
Thank
you
you.
are a TEDx speaker, and then your speaking is really inspiring as well. I'll put that link under our video so let the world hear about your story as well. And yeah, thank you, Kaylee. So she is giving lots of opportunities for many people to find out their real core and then how to express that and deliver that to the bigger audience. So I got another question that I know that you have a real good wisdom on that area. We know that the month of May is a real awareness for family violence. We had a candle vigil night happened on May 1st, and then the whole month, especially through my show, I am helping people to have that awareness of family violence. It's a generational issue. We know that, and it can't be stopped in a day. But what do you prefer, or what's your thoughts on family violence awareness?
Well, obviously there is a victim and a perpetrator.
Mm,
Very often I find as a GP, I actually see both the perpetrators and the victims.
mm,
And from my point of view, um, I like to say that it's kind of a non-judgmental stance. Um, very often there is a whole background story to why the perpetrator, might have done what he's done or she's done. I shouldn't
mm,
necessarily label a specific sex, but
mm,
yes, very often, um, that there is a background history. Very often they themselves were children of families who experience family domestic violence.
mm,
Um, and they grew up not knowing any different. And so, that's kind of the only way they knew to express their dissatisfaction.
mm,
Um, and so that's one side of the story. And obviously the victims, I think we probably understand that side very well. But yeah, I think the part I would like to highlight is often that the perpetrator's side may not always be seen, um, by everyone. So yeah,
Everyone is saying that they are the reason, so they are the bad side or worst side. They're not like, we are not really thinking about what really triggered or what's the real issue that, asked or implemented or, reflected on him. So I like your way that you're mentioning that that's the only way that they know how to respond. So that may be the place that we can help through the education and through the awareness. So yeah, thank you for your open response as a GP, where you feel like feel compassion to both sides because you're seeing that real stories and where it starts, and it can be a childhood trauma that ended up in violence. It can be abandonment or lack of love that may be the reason why they ended up in a narcissistic behavior or in obsessive love or whatever, all those bits and pieces. So yeah, I can I can really feel that, how you were helping both sides, giving them the right directions and engaging with the right people. So thank you so much. You're helping as a general practitioner to the community. That's a great way. So I would love to check with you. The theme of my show is spreading love, joy, and peace. So being a mother, being an entrepreneur, being a coach, and being a community service provider. How do you spread love, joy, and peace? You mentioned some areas, but do you want to expand a bit more on that?
Sure. Um, I think self-care, I don't think I've talked much about self-care, but self-care would be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mums do not generally know how to give themselves care.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's learning to give ourselves permission to
Mm-hmm.
care for ourselves. I think we're starting to become a better generation at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think I still see a lot of mums who feel the guilt if they were to, have time for themselves and things like that. So, yeah, I think absolutely the self-care is a really important thing. And as we all know, we've heard the saying, we can't give out the love from an empty cup. And so we need to give the love to ourselves first before we can actually shower others with that love, be it our kids or
Mm-hmm.
anyone else around us. So I would say that's probably number one. And I think having the intention, for me, again, going back to my meditation, which is a self-care measure for me. Um, when I do my meditation, part of it is having an intention of how I set the intention for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's reminding myself some gratitude and, some intentions of what I want to try and achieve for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then planting that throughout the day,
Yeah.
going back to that during, say, stressful times during the day, going back to that early morning meditation, remembering these were the things that I wanted to have for today.
Yeah.
So,
Intention, self-care.
yeah, intentions, yeah. And I've talked about being mindfully present.
Okay,
So that's
mindfully present. Yeah.
so,
Okay,
so
so
that's they all kind of merge together sort of thing. So I
yeah, yeah.
would say those are the main things from my point of view. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much because that's all always mothers forget. And this is coming from a general practitioner doctor. So it's not just coming out of your experience because you are the one helping the whole community and then, pushing them to have that self-care. So it's really valid points that we need to keep continue in our motherhood. I
Yeah.
just wanna, thank you for you juggling your time, and that's how you got time for me to share your love, joy, and peace with my show and spreading that love to all the mothers. I really would love to check with you how I can reach out to you to get more understanding, wisdom, and get this coaching with you. How can I reach out to you?
Yeah, people can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and also I have a web page which is
Mm-hmm.
ember-coaching.com. And yeah, Facebook would be my full name,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess I can provide you some links.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, I have two different Instagram accounts, which would be better if I posted regularly. But yeah, I'm happy to provide those two. One's more nature
Mm-hmm.
and veggie patch focus, and the other's kind of all the different
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle
Okay.
related,
That
activities.
that's very, very good. And I will be uploading all those links right after this shows in the show note. So keep connected. And if you want to find out how nature can heal you through proper food, and we all know that our mental health is connected to our gut. So you need to make sure that you make your gut happy through that colorful rainbow vegetables, right? And that's what the power of vegetables. And if it is homegrown, that's the best. And that's what this Ember coaching is helping you to find out how you can make that from your own home. And I know how much wisdom that you have because you have practiced that for last 20 years and experienced it through being a mother. So thank you so much again, Peng, being with us as our guest in this series. And we wish you a very special Mother's Day this year. Enjoy all the wins that you had and celebrate every moment of motherhood. And that's how you fill your cup. And once it is full, you can share that with all the people that coming to you to get inspired with your great work that you're doing in the community. So thank you so much again, Peng. For joining with Dominus Missing. So, my listeners, if you really want to find out how the nature can heal you, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, and that will help you to become a better person. And if you want to find out more, please connect with them through the links that I'm providing on this video. So again, this is our second day of Mother's Day series. I'll see you next time with another wonderful guest. This is Bismi from Dominus. Thank you.
Thanks, Bismi.